once every month for some helpful conversation about health and recreation. We got plenty of ways to brighten your day. It's not too much to listen up to our monthly healthy subjects. Even if you're on a budget, we can help you make sure that doesn't get in your way. 'Cause I'm sure we can all agree we could use a little help staying healthy and raising awareness in communities to make a better life for you and me. So tune in once every month and just hear what we have to say. Everything is gonna be okay with the Community Health Corner in your day.
Happy New Year. I'm Cozell.
And I'm Ursula, and we're here with a new episode of Community Health Corner. Every month, we discuss new topics full of tips and tricks to help us all live healthier lives.
January is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, so we have asked Dr. Bob to speak on cervical cancer prevention. He is going to discuss the importance of getting your HPV vaccine, as well as why routine Pap tests are necessary for any person that has a cervix.
Cozell is going to cover a heavy but important topic with you all. Drug abuse affects us all, whether this is directly or indirectly. If you or a loved one suffers from drug addiction, you are not alone and you do not want to miss the information he is bringing you.
Being motivated to do anything can be hard sometimes. In these moments, exercise is the last thing on your mind. Ursula has 5 tips for you all to use to get motivated to seize the day and get your daily workout in.
Finally, Shelby is going to be discussing her protein food group and affordability of different protein sources. After this educational segment, she's going to prepare a pork chop dish that teaches you how to marinate, how to pan fry, and how to deglaze. Stay tuned for the end to learn her easy pork chop recipe. We are excited to have you with us today.
Now, let's head over to Dr. Bob.
Cervical cancer, a type of cancer that develops in the cervix, is one of the most preventable types of cancers. Most cervical cancer can be prevented with a vaccine or detected early with routine medical exams. Human papillomavirus, or HPV, is the most common sexually transmitted infection in the United States. Most HPV infections go away on their own, but those that do not can cause cancer. Because HPV is the cause of most cervical cancers, it's important to get vaccinated against HPV as early as possible. While the HPV vaccine is a very important step in preventing cervical cancer, it does not protect against all types of HPV that can cause the disease. A woman who has been vaccinated may still get infected with other strains of the virus, so it's crucial that women continue to receive regular screening tests even after getting vaccinated. Early detection of cervical cancer is key to survival. Cervical cancer has few symptoms until it's advanced, so getting screened regularly is crucial to prevent the disease from spreading. A Pap test screening is a simple procedure that detects abnormal cells on the cervix by collecting cells from the surface of your cervix. This is done with a small brush or spatula. Women should begin getting Pap tests at age 21. And continue receiving a screening every 3 years unless abnormal cells are found. Women who are 65 years of age or older and have had normal screenings for several years can generally stop having Pap smears. Cervical cancer is the most common type of cancer in women, but remember, it also is one of the most preventable. Making sure you are vaccinated against HPV and are getting regular screenings is the best way to prevent cervical cancer. If you need help accessing these preventative care services, please contact us for assistance.
Hi everyone, I'm Cozell, and I'm here to talk to you all about a heavy topic. Most people don't understand why or how someone becomes addicted to drugs. And this leads to the misconception that those who are addicted lack moral principles or are weak. Drug addiction is extremely complex, and quitting using any substance when you are addicted takes more than just wanting to do so. This is because when a person has a drug addiction, their brain chemistry is affected over time. Drugs activate what is called the reward circuit of the brain, which causes a temporary feeling of euphoria by flooding the brain with dopamine. The reward circuit is something everyone has. It's the feeling of reward which motivates a person to repeat behavior that activate the circuit. Drug addiction feeds off this natural circuit in the brain, leading to the reinforcement of using the drug by encouraging the person to repeat the act to achieve the euphoric feeling again. As a person continues to use drugs, the brain adapts by reducing the ability of the dopamine to be expelled. This reduces the high the individual feels, building a tolerance, so they will need more of the drug to get high. Over time, this can lead to dependence on the drug. When someone is dependent on a drug, it's hard to quit using it when they want to get clean and stay healthy. This is why drug addiction can be difficult to overcome, and understanding how it will develop is important when approaching loved ones that are addicted. The most important thing when talking with someone about their drug use is to show them that you care and are willing to listen without judging them. Drug use is often a sensitive subject for people who are struggling with it. So the most important thing you can do is to listen without judging them or trying to fix anything. Instead, try asking open-ended questions and understanding their perspective on why they chose to use drugs in the first place, or why they have not stopped using drugs yet. If someone you know has recently started using drugs, or if they have been struggling with their drug use for some time now, you may be feeling shocked and angry that this person could put themselves at risk through such risky behavior. It's important, not only for them, but also for yourself, that you control these feelings and avoid passing judgment. People who are addicted to drugs need help, but they might not know how to get it themselves. You can help your loved ones begin their recovery journey by learning about different treatment options with them. Finding the right kind of treatment will give them the best chance of overcoming addiction and rebuilding their life. You can show them the path, but they must be the one to walk it. Treatment for drug abuse is available in many different settings, from outpatient therapy sessions to long-term residential programs. The type of program that's best for your loved one depends on his or her specific needs and goals. Understand, however, that relapse is common. Relapse doesn't mean that treatment has failed or that sobriety is a lost cause. If you have relapsed after treatment, seek out additional help from an addiction specialist or treatment facility that specializes in helping people who have relapsed from drug abuse, substance abuse. If you or someone you love has a problem with drugs, call the National Drug Abuse Treatment Hotline at 1-800-662-HELP. The hotline is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can also visit it at www.samhsa.gov to find treatment options in your area.
begins with the decision to get up or not to get up. Hitting the snooze button can shift your daily routine off kilter, making it hard for you to maintain a steady schedule. Be honest, how many times have you hit the snooze button in a row or turned off your alarms altogether? Getting up and starting your day when you first wake up is best for your body because it sets your day up for success with the first choice made. The decision to exercise is similar to deciding to wake up in the morning. What is the best for your body in the morning is to get out of bed, and it's the best for your health to incorporate exercise into your daily routine. In fact, exercise is one of the best ways to make yourself feel more alert. Regular exercise can also help you sleep better and concentrate better throughout the day, which leads to greater mental clarity and creativity. I know. Exercise is the last thing you want to do when you are struggling to motivate yourself, and the decision may be hard sometimes, just like it might be hard to get out of bed. That is why today we're covering 5 methods of motivating yourself to exercise or really to do any task. Our first tip to self-motivation is to take a few minutes to collect your thoughts. Most of us cannot just shift gears and go from one activity to the next without a transition. So taking a step back from your to-do list and grounding your thoughts, checking in with yourself, can be all you need to get ready to get a good workout in. Chances are, after just a few minutes of slowing down, the thought of gathering your energy to exercise will not be as overwhelming. Tip number 2 to motivate yourself is to remind yourself why you want to do it. The health benefits are extreme, and creating a short mantra that reminds you why you're doing it can be enough to get you going. And we don't mean saying something like, because I want to lose weight. That won't cut it. You need something deep. Try, because I want to take care of myself. That's a good one. Tip number 3 is to avoid thinking the task is an all or nothing situation. Just going and getting started and seeing how far you can go can be enough to get you there. Chances are, just getting started is enough to get you through your workout. You don't have to do an entire workout to reach your fitness goals. In fact, just 5 minutes of exercise a day is enough to reap the health benefits. Our fourth tip is to have a favorite go-to exercise, something you'll be looking forward to doing during your workout. Maybe this is blasting music while you walk on the treadmill, or maybe you really enjoy a specific weightlifting exercise. Having an exercise you look forward to doing, for whatever reason, can be enough to get you motivated. Our fifth and final tip is to get a partner to exercise with. Whether this is a running buddy, someone to spot you during weightlifting, or just someone that will exist in the same space as you during the exercise. Having a partner or belonging to a community of like-minded people will keep you accountable and will remind you that you have a place that you can contribute to. It's easy to get stuck in a rut, especially when you feel tired or unmotivated. But these tips are a go-to motivators so that you can keep up with your regular exercise routine despite any challenges you may be facing.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Shelby and I'm here to discuss my favorite food group, protein. Let's face it, meat can be expensive. That's why I'm here to cover what protein sources are the most economical, as well as those that aren't so cost effective when you're cooking on a budget. There are a wide variety of options out there for you to get your protein in. The most common meat options include fish, poultry, pork, and beef. There are other meats available like deer or lamb. There are many things that can affect the price of meat, including where you are geographically, what is on sale, supply, as well as an array of other factors. So how do I shop for meat on a budget? First things first, know what meats are selling for. Attached to the show, we're linking the National Meat Price Spreads, which breaks down monthly average values for selected cuts of beef, pork, chicken, turkey, and even eggs and dairy products. Check this out to keep up with average prices. In general, chicken is going to be an inexpensive meat purchase, whereas with things like pork or beef, price really comes down to the cut you get. When you're shopping for meats on a budget, you should be flexible on what meat you're interested in. It is a good idea to stay open-minded. You may be able to find an alternative cut that's going to save you money. Get creative with your cuts. Find new ways to cook with cheaper cuts, like ground meats, that can be used in a variety of cooking. Another way to save money when meat shopping is to use more of the animal. You can collect meat fats to use as a butter alternative in cooking, and purchasing more of the animal is typically going to save you money. For instance, buying a whole chicken is more cost-effective than purchasing individual pieces of it. So learning how to use up more of the animal is going to give you more bang for the cheaper price per pound purchase. Organs are another protein option, like liver. And if you're not a fan of having them as the main entree, you can grate the organs into ground meat and you won't even taste it. I'm not a fan of liver, so the grating method has saved me from having to just throw the organ pieces away when I need to save money. Ooh. Another way to save money on meat shopping is to rely on your local butchers. You are likely to find a wider selection of meats at the butchers as opposed to the supermarket, and they are there to help you shop for what is best for you. Do not be afraid to ask them what the good cuts are for the week and what the best deal is, and they may even have some tips for cooking it too. Do not be afraid to try other protein sources that aren't meats. Beans are full of protein, so incorporating them into your routine offers a money-saving alternative. Beans are available in many different forms, and with so many different types of beans out there, you can achieve variety by using different types of them in your cooking. Tofu is another common meat alternative, and there are many recipes out there using it in cooking. Crumbling tofu is a secret weapon to achieve a ground beef-like texture, but it can be sautéed, fried, or baked as well. Don't be afraid to try it. One of our healthy habits for the month is to eat one more protein serving per day. And this can be achieved by incorporating a variety of protein sources into your diet, including the ones not so commonly thought of, like those beans or that tofu. Take these tips with you the next time you are planning your proteins for the week. We just discussed the variety of protein sources, as well as tips for getting the most out of the money you put into them. Remember, purchasing cheaper cuts is one of the largest ways you can save money on meat purchases. Pork chops are one of my go-to meat cuts for their affordability, so I'm going to use this cut of meat in this month's recipe. We're going to discuss marinating, pan frying, and deglazing today. Marinating is an effective way to enhance the flavor, add extra moisture, and tenderize meat before cooking. In addition, a good marinade can help make cheaper, leaner cuts less dry and make tougher pieces of meat more succulent. The marinating process can take as long as you're willing to put into it, but generally I like to let my meat marinate overnight. To marinate, you just combine your ingredients together and let it sit. The best results vary with the meat you're using, so check our show notes where we include a chart on the best marinade times for different meats. To form a good marinade, use the following combination: 1 part acid, 3 parts fat or oil, plus your seasonings. Your acid can be something like vinegar, wine, lemon, or lime juice. For fat or oil, you can use just about any oil or experiment with something like milk or yogurt. Your seasonings are whatever flavors you're interested in adding. My pre-made marinade includes 1 part of apple juice, 3 parts of olive oil, and I seasoned it with garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, and a small amount of brown sugar for some sweetness. While the meat is marinating, you want your meat to be completely immersed. Generally, a half cup of liquid marinade for every 1 pound of meat will do the trick. If you can't completely cover the meat, turn it over occasionally in the marinade. Once your meat has marinated, you're ready to pan fry. Begin by adding a small amount of oil to your pan and heating to medium-high heat. Cook only 3 pork chops at a time, giving 2 to 3 minutes for the first side and about 2 minutes for the second side. Ooh. I'll put that over there. Flip the pork chops occasionally to ensure they do not burn. Your goal is to achieve a medium brown look on the pork chops. Now that my pork chops are brown, I'm removing them from my pan and preparing to deglaze. Deglazing is a cooking technique that involves introducing a liquid to the used pan to lift up the pieces of food stuck to the bottom. See here how we have lots of pork chops left behind. So here, I'm pouring in a small amount of apple juice, but you can use almost any liquid you would like to bring flavor into your dish. We're going to gently heat the liquid on medium heat, using a spatula to drag along the bottom to bring up the stuck food. Once you have removed the food stuck to the bottom, you have successfully deglazed your pan. Spoon your newly made glaze over your pork chops and voila, your pork chops are ready to eat. Let us know in the comments what meat you're interested in using these techniques with.
Those pork chops are mouth-watering. Thanks, Shelby. I'm feeling inspired to cook with new protein sources now that I know how to find affordable options.
They do look so good, but what about the 5 tips you gave for motivation? I know that I gained new ways to get myself up and moving, and I hope you did too.
I am so glad you enjoyed it. I thought you provided insightful information about drug abuse, and I had no idea that addiction literally changes your brain chemistry.
Yes, that is true. That is why it can be hard for someone who is not personally struggling with addiction to understand what it is like. We also have a big thank you to Dr. Bob for shedding light on cervical cancer prevention for Cervical Cancer Awareness Month.
Remember our habits for the month. Try using cheaper cuts of meat and protein.
Eat 1 more protein serving per day.
And walk when you talk on your cell phone. Living a healthier life doesn't have to feel daunting. Implementing small, simple changes in your behavior and consistently repeating these changes gets you closer to a healthier you, one step at a time.
We hope you learned a lot this month, and we cannot wait to see you next month when we will be bringing entirely new topics up for discussion. See you then.
Bye.